Hi, I'm Susan. It's Seaside Stitches. I'm coming to you now from January 2023. This has been a bumper month for me, just to allow myself to sew when I wanted, no deadlines, no worrying, just get on with it or leave it, whatever. Catching up if I wanted to, but I made a couple of new makes and this is one of them. It is the Linnea top from Sinclair Patterns. Hi, this is my Linnea top and I've tucked it in because it's very, very long and I don't know if you'll see my head. There's the back. I'm going to do something about taking that up at some point on my next ones to do a sway back adjustment, but I'm fine with it now. Get the idea. My hair's up funny because I just washed it. Don't worry about it. I'm not. It's a bit crumpled because I've had my coat on and I've been in the car. So that's it really. This is the Linnea number 2. I'm really into colour blocking and I just love this jumper. So it's on top of a ready-made thingamabob, but yes, I just wanted some warm things. So enough about that, over to another me. It would be spot the difference. That in January I sewed up a storm, so I started to make things to put around the place, just sewing room decor to emphasize my seaside stitches because I'm 3 minutes walk from the beach and I just love that. Yes, so I made that and then I decided on warmth now, so I'd sent for this fabric. I made these up, 2 of them kind of in tandem. I have also made a Billy sweater with the big puffy sleeves, the tilly and the buttons Billy sweater, and also I'm making the pinafore, just kind of a shift dress and bit 60s really, but with a bit longer length, and that I want to have over my Billy jumper because again it's warmth. And these, as you may have noticed, the whole point of this is that I can wear another jumper under it. Under this I've got another layer, just kind of a base layer, my polar neck, which I've got loads of in different colours. They are ready-made polos. I've had them for years and years, built them up as they got new different colours in. The Billy jumper is made in a bigger size so that I can wear a base layer, a jumper, the Billy sweater and then the pinafore dress. So I'm just trying to be practical, bright and cheery, and these are the backs and then in a minute the fronts of the 3 sweatshirts that I've made in January. The 2 colour blocked ones are the Sinclair patterned Linnea top, and in the middle we've got a Billy sweater. I'll turn them around now. So now we've got the fronts of the 2 Linnea sweaters and the Billy sweater or jumper or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, just keep warm January. Also, I would just give you an overview of the pattern pieces and just a little bit of how they went together. Well, good morning, Sinclair Linnea sweatshirt. Here we have the pieces that are going to be red, the pieces that are going to be royal blue, the pieces that are going to be multicoloured, and the pieces that are going to be turquoise. Let's get started and see what happens. I really like the Sinclair patterns and instructions. They're very clear. I don't print them out, I just use them from my iPad. They show photographs and instructions with them and they just take you through it step by step. And all these pictures are showing that that's where I'm up to. I'm just attaching pieces together where I've been instructed to and then getting them ready to sew them either by on the overlocker or by machine. And I don't always overlock them second, I usually overlock them first. Everything has been overlocked at this stage that needs to be overlocked, except those 2 seams there between the blue and the multi. I'll do those in a minute. And then all I have to do now, so that's the front, and then here we have the back. Whoops. And the back pieces. I have to put some stabilizer on the shoulder seam on the turquoise on the back, and that's just one thing to do. And then I shall overlock those two seams on there and overlock the two seams on the front, and then everything else I'm going to put through the machine. Well, I'm going to put them all through the machine. I prefer to do the machine, the overlocking first, and then do the seams. All the seams now are overlocked, sewn on the machine, and pressed towards the bottom hem. And I'm really pleased with how it's starting to look. That's the back laid on top of the front. I'll just move it round. And this is the front laid on top of the back, right sides together. So as you can see, it's really quite wide and kind of blocky, but I'm aware of that, and I'll work on whether I'll leave it like that or not. It needs a neckband on, it needs a bottom band on, and it needs the sleeves on. But just for now, I'm going to tack it up the sides and then see if it actually goes on me. Okay, the light is very poor now. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and what I'm just coming on to say is I've got a good fit around the neck, over the shoulders, and under my arms at the front. However, at the back, all this blue at the back needs to be removed somehow. All that width of that blue. I'm not working out which angle on each of these three pieces I need to be altering. I'm going to work out a quick fix for now, and then make notes and work out just a better fit for next time. But I'm really pleased that it's gone together so well that I chose to do a 12, and maybe I need to be doing a 10 at the top of the bodice in future. So there we are for now. I'm pleased with it. It's not too wacky. Got to sort the sleeves out to no point till I get the back right. Okay. My potential solution. I have taken out the overlocking and the stitching on the blue and this coloured one, this seam, and I've adapted it, and we'll see how that goes. Just about to try and redraft it on the other side to match. Well, we'll see when I try it on. So as you can see, I've taken quite a lot off the blue. I've also had to take some off each of the edges of the shoulders because I have sloping shoulders, and then that's all I got. That's all that I videoed. So they are the completed garments. Hi, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches, and I'm coming on because I hadn't done my January makes yet. Not this one. This is just on top of my January make. I have had this quite a while. It was just sleeveless shawl cardigan, a McCall's pattern. I'll put the number down below. There is a sew along for it, and it's a really easy thing to make. It's quite nicely finished inside. I've got the actual cardigan, and this is the long length version. You can do it quite a short, just at the top of your hip, or there's a long version. Anyway, I'm going to take it off now and show you my billy sweater. I don't know whether it's a billy jumper, a billy sweater, a billy top, whatever it is, but it's a Tilly and the Buttons billy, and I'm not thrilled with it. But anyway, I trusted what Tilly said and just kind of made it rather than getting too worried about it, and that was my mistake really because I have a low bust and I'm very shallow here, and I didn't do any adjustments because all it is a sweatshirt, and that's fine, and I understand it. So as that goes, that's fine. I did a major mistake that I always take at least 3/4 off the ends of the shoulders, because otherwise I must have short collarbones. But otherwise the sleeve is hanging off here and it looks ridiculous. But what I did was I decided to do the cheat, which is you I fit it all on, I realised my mistake, and then I turned it all over. So I lost a little bit of length from the sleeve. I don't know if you know what I mean, but do I have it here? Well, I'll do it from this. So instead of just taking the sleeve off again, I've just tacked it on, pasted it. Instead of taking the sleeve off and then chopping a little bit off the ends of the shoulder, where the sleeve was joined, I just turned that over a little bit more and sewed it further in. So in sewing it further in, that sorted out the extra that I had on the top, but it took some from the head of the sleeve. So I had added 2 inches, because to me on the pattern they look like they come up a bit like this anyway, and I don't like that at all. So I added 2 inches, but I took quite a bit off again by moving it over, and also the actual moving it over so that it's more here has also meant that it's shortened it and it's pulled it up. So if it's short anywhere, I can feel it there. It's taking it back from there, but that's fine because that was my mistake. And also because I'm shallow chested, I get this, and I can't stand that. So I hadn't done a low bust adjustment because I just thought I'll just go with it. So it's just shouting out, put a dart in here, put a dart in here. But to be honest, I couldn't be bothered because I just thought, well, I've done that now, I've got that, I'm not redoing them. And I had actually made it to go under a pinafore, and the pinafore is this one. And so I can make sure that that isn't over the edge so that it should get the benefit of the frill. The cuff, the amount of fabric in the cuff is absolutely insane, and I am used to doing things with cuffs, but that is insane. But I like it insane as long as it's not pulling from here, which is what it's doing partly because of my mistake, or partly because it's drafted to be about there. And so I'm not thrilled. But I was like, well, would I make another? I don't know. I might pinch the sleeve pattern. I also didn't like that it went across the top flat, and when I'd done it, it wasn't flattering. The gathers all came down here, not around the... Nah, didn't like it at all. And then I just walked into the lounge, and there was a picture on of a video on where Nadia, that's as far as I know, Nadia was cooking something, doing some cooking program, and I stopped for a minute and thought, she's got a Billy jumper on, Billy sweater. It was a beautiful lilac, and I thought, was it Sewing Bee that she won, or was it the Bake Off that she won? And just for a few minutes it was like, oh no. So, but it was a Billy sweater made in that way that it's kind of flat against the top. If you've seen how it's made, you'll know what I mean. But normally a sleeve head is curved, isn't it? Well, this isn't. It just goes more or less straight. There's a little hump, and then there it is. So anything that was gathered, it just wasn't flattering. It was just kind of hanging down here. So I had to tweak that a bit. But I don't like it. I don't like it. I do flared sleeves all the time, and I don't like this one. So that's me and my Billy sweater. Oh, and also I was conscious that other people, particularly Andrea beyond the pink door, she'd had a real trouble with the neck being kind of like, ugh. I don't find it like that because I can pull it down, and as long as I pull it down the bottom, then it's fine. Yes, and the band is fine. That goes on well, and yeah, it's fine. But at the same time, I'd also made 2 linear tops, Sinclair Patterns linear tops, and they fit me so much nicer. And so I don't think I would make one of these again if I can make one of those. But they don't have the puff sleeves, but I can always put a puff sleeve in anything. So that's where I am with the Billy sweater. I think there's no misunderstanding of how I stand on it. Yes, thank you for that. So I will be on again at some point. I'm doing it like this because there's no way I can film outside what I'm wearing. So what I finished. I did sew up a storm in January, and oh, there is something else I could add in. So I finally finished this with the second lot of binding on the bottom. I'd done it, I'd made it, I'd finished it, I'd done 3 videos on it, on how to put it together, part 1, part 2, part 3, in January last year, and then I just could not get the row of the binding to go back on itself with a neat enough stitch that I was happy with it, so I left it, and fortunately, and I'm pleased about it, I picked it up again. And this, if you've never seen my first couple of videos, this is Harold. And it was a toy from IKEA that we bought my mum. Well, she liked it when she was going around after she was just widowed after my dad passed away. The other thing I've done is this had all the components made, already made, yeah, but not all put together. It's a by Annie double zip, speaks for itself, gear bag, and it's the medium size. And it's got pockets, it's fully lined as because you do it as a quilt sandwich, and there's no raw edges, you bind the inside. And then there's a pocket on the front, zip pocket, and there is a mesh pocket on whichever you want to have as the front or the back, but on one side. And yeah, that holds on by Velcro, and then there's a little tab if you want to hold the tab while you're zipping it up, or hold this end while you're zipping it down. Yeah, so that's that. That's another make for January. All the components were ready, as I said, but I assembled it into a bag in January. And this one, I had made this out of scraps from a dress, one of my favourite dresses. This is called the open wide bag. I've made 3 others before this. Again, the January when I made that. There were some videos around that time. And I have wanted to make my own cosmetic kind of personal going away bag for things, for my personal items, for quite a long time. I didn't manage to do it for July when we went to Durham to the big meeting, drumming with all the miners' associations. And I didn't make one, I didn't have it ready for November when it was our golden wedding anniversary. And I didn't have it ready when we went for Christmas at our son and daughter-in-law's. But I thought, right, January, let's see if I can make it in January. So all it is scraps. It isn't patched together as a patchwork kind of with different blocks and things. It is just randomly patched together, and I just did the usual, the coordinating fabric inside and a coordinating fabric for the binding and around the zip, colour, and match the colour to the fold over elastic, and I'm really pleased with it. And so for now, oh, and I just love the way they're finished. You know, when I finished it, I just thought they are beautiful bags to sew. What you must not do if you are doing By Annie bags is think for yourself. Do not jump ahead and think, oh, now you will do this. No. Until you've done a few, you don't know what you're going to do next. Because if you do what you think you should do next, you'll end up having to use your seam ripper and start again. And I think other people might agree with me. But they are lovely to sew, and the finished product. That I made for, that was finished already. I did that in September for the Sew Purple to End ALZ. Yes, so they are all parts of my January makes and finishes, and then there are 2 other things, the linear tops, and I can't think if there's something else. This is the cardigan that this pattern is made from, and when I first made it, which was, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, it didn't have a cuff on. It wasn't meant to have a cuff on, and I didn't quite know how to finish the sleeve, and I wasn't happy. It always felt, I thought I'd made it a bit too ornate with a zigzag on the end, and so I decided to alter it, and then I realised that it was going a bit baggy, so I made it a bit shorter, and then it wasn't like half mast like this is, but it was a bit short, so I thought, I just never used it, so I thought I will use it if it's got a cuff on. So the eagle-eyed among you will notice, because this had been washed a couple of times and this has only been washed when I first bought it, that is slightly different shade. Only slightly. I don't think someone's going to run behind me and go, oh, you've got different shade cuffs on your top. So that will be getting an airing now. That will be being worn more in the summer months because I can't fit a thicker jumper underneath it, but I can fit t-shirts or long sleeved t-shirts underneath it. Something else that I started in January that is probably going to be finished in February. It's Susan at Seaside Stitches. I don't know if you'll be able to see my head, but this is one of my January makes, and it's the billy sweater, and yes, I think that shows you what I'm going to say on the thing about it. It went together really quickly, so that is one big plus of this pattern. And so that's the back of it, and the side of it, and the front of it, and yes, everything else about it. And this is what I mean about this thing. Okay, that's it for me about the billy sweater. I hope to see you again soon, so I do hope you'll come back to my channel. I'd really enjoy it if you'd place a comment on my channel. I would be over the moon. That is worth more to me than whether you subscribe or not. So a thumbs up if you're happy with the video, and a comment would be great. And if other people comment, then conversations can start, can't they? So I'd love that, and I'd love to see you again. So Susan at Seaside Stitches, signing off. Lots of love to you all. I hope your crafting and sewing or knitting or whatever you're doing goes well, and lovely to have met you.